was born and raised in Ashkelon, and exactly 2 years before October 7, I moved to the US because of a business opportunity. So I was in October 7, I was in the US. October 7, it was 6 in the morning in Israel, it was Shabbat, Saturday, and in the US it was Friday evening. I was basically after dinner with my friends, and we were heading to a bar. And then I'm starting to receive messages on my phone, on my WhatsApp. And then I'm receiving messages. We are 4 siblings in my family. 2 of my brother and sister lives in the center. And my older sister, she lives in Ashkelon with 4 of her kids. And also my parents lives in Ashkelon. My parents are Shomer Shabbat. They're observing Shabbat. And then I see in the WhatsApp group that they're sending messages. So that was for me very weird because they never use the phone on Shabbat. And the first thing I see,
כן, תקשיבי, עכשיו המשטרה, שני שוטרים כנראה מג"ב, עברו פה עם חמושים חזק, הם אמרו שיש חדירת מחבלים באשקלון, אמרנו להם גם עם השכנים שאנחנו למטה במקלט, אבל אין שם איפה לנעול את זה, הוא אמר שלהיכנס הביתה ולנעול את הדלת, אז בבקשה תהיו זהירים, בבקשה, תשתדלו לנעול את הזה, בבקשה תשמרו על עצמכם.
This is a voice record of WhatsApp of my mother. She's basically saying to my sister, please stay at home. Police were just coming next to our house and they said that there's an invasion of Hamas into Ashkelon, so you have to be locked. Go inside, please close the door. And I hear that when I'm in Los Angeles. Not only this, I also see this text message. My sister said that she thinks that the rocket hit the house of her neighbors and that the house is all dismantled. Happened to be, there was an AP photographer right outside of her house, so they took a picture of my sister running out with Yuval, her daughter. So imagine that I'm in Los Angeles and I see all of these things and I'm like, what's happening? That's not something normal. That's not like just another session of missiles going into Israel. It's something much more than that. Of course, I'm also getting messages from my team in the WhatsApp group, and I understood that we have been called Tzav Shmone, and we have been called to join. I call El Al, I'm trying to get a ticket. I get a ticket and I'm getting to Israel. On my way to the airport, on Facebook, I discover about friends that got killed in this attack, friends from different units. And of course, we were very outraged and very unhappy for the situation. I'm landing in Israel in October 8 in the evening, and in the morning, my brother-in-law is driving me on road number 6. My team was already in the southern part of Israel, close to the Gaza envelope, and I want to join them. Here, I don't even have a weapon, I don't have my machine here, I'm just like joining my team. I was a reconnaissance paratrooper, and in my reserve, I was in Division 55, and our mission was to go first into Khan Yunis. Okay? We were the first infantry to go inside and to start also the operation over there. With all of the demolition of the buildings, there is cables all around, meaning that you don't know even where you step. Any place you go, there can be a device, there can be an explosion. You walk in the street and you don't know where are the tunnels because it's underneath the ground. The exit of the tunnels, they're doing it in a very smart way. I mean, it's like hidden, they put stuff on it. Mostly it's like come out from a house, and inside the house it's been hidden. So yeah, you walk and you know that probably someone underneath the ground is there. And not only this, when we come with tanks are making a lot of noise. So it's even easier for them to understand where we are at. Not only that, since of course Khan Yunis is big, there was many cameras all over. And you can't find all of their cameras. And they're watching and they're looking and they know where we are at. And they're coming from underneath the ground in a certain area just for a few seconds, shooting and then going back. We got this mission to go into a house that we know it belonged to Hamas. Now you need to understand that all of the area of Khan Yunis, when we came in, it was already empty. Of course, the army, the IDF is sending notes from the sky before we came in, written in Arabic, saying this is a war zone, evacuate from here, and also we made sure that there's no one inside. So basically the place is empty. You go there, everything is silence. You don't see nothing unless only dogs, sometimes donkeys, sometimes chicken, but that's it. There's no people, no one is there. It's a very dangerous place to be. Even for us as soldiers, it was dangerous because there's many troops all around. There's choppers in the sky, there's airplanes, there's drones. It's a very, very dangerous place to be. So any normal human being, of course, wasn't there. Even in the night, everything is dark. There's no lights. You can look for hours and hours and hours far distance. You don't see nothing in the eyes. Why I'm saying that? Because, of course, whenever you get to see someone, you know it's an enemy, it's a militia. So here we were going into one house. Before we're going inside, we have to shoot into suspicious places because we don't want to be surprised. We go into this house, and then in the garden, we search in the garden and we're shooting to suspicious places, and we come and we are about to shoot into the main door. Right before doing that, we see an old man with white hair. One hand is raising, and the other hand, he has a stick with a white curtain. That was basically a guy that we decided that in that situation, you need to understand it's a common sense. Although, according to the international law, we had the right to shoot at him at the situation that we were at. It's a war zone. I mean, before even we got in, there is like shooting in the peripheral area on us from different places. But at that specific moment, you have your common sense and you have your knowledge, and we decided not to shoot for the situation, for the way it was. The guy, of course, came out. We told him to raise the hands. We could have seen that we control him from distance, and we know that he doesn't have anything on him. And then behind him, there was a guy also with a hand in the air. He was at the age of 40s. The old guy was in his 50s, 60s. So, of course, we do the whole procedure. We tell them to take off the clothes, to make sure there's no explosive, to make sure that there's not an ambush. And you need to understand we are in a battle now. There's like shooting around, and we don't even know if there's someone else in this house. It's a whole complex situation. One thing led to another. We take the guys, we take them aside, and what do? We're starting to interrogate them. We have also special intelligence guys with us that speak fluent Arabic, and we start to ask them. At first, the old guy goes and says, no, we came here because we wanted to make sure that no one is taking things from our house. We wanted to take care of our belongings. Of course, he was trying to fool us. But then we put more pressure. We have our technology. We know how to double check with the picture of the guy. We know his name. And then we're starting to make more pressure, and he don't want to talk. So in a specific moment, what do? We show him, you see, this is the WhatsApp of your daughter. We know about your family. And then we do some other pressure manipulation, and then he starts to talk. And we understand that 2 houses away, this is the house basically of the guy in his 40s. And that we know that he is part of Hamas, and we know that he sent text messages a few days ago to some other Hamas militias. So, of course, we're heading to the other house. And what do we see in the other house, underneath the house, in the garden? It's this.
This is the motorbike of the Hamas that,
7th of October.
that came on the 7th of October into Israel. We found like 3 of them.
And of course, in the house, we found other things. We went into this operation and very close to where we stayed in Khan Yunis, in a neighborhood called Bani Suhila. In this neighborhood, we had to go from one house to another. So we go into first house, second house, and then before we go into the third house, we see someone coming with a white flag. Not even someone, it was a woman in her 60s. Very old, sorry to say, fat woman. And then behind her, we see an old guy, also raising his hand. And the woman, she was like on the floor. She wasn't standing. And she said, I can't walk, I'm handicapped. And of course, we know that the situation is that basically those people, even if they're not armed, we know that they're there because they're watching and they're providing information to the Hamas. Not only this, there's no way that they were there the whole time because we've been there for a week and a half in that area. There's explosive, there's like tanks, shooting all over. There's no way they could have survived in this house the whole time. So we also understood that they probably came from a tunnel, and there is a tunnel next to that area. One thing led to another. The woman said, I'm handicapped, I cannot go, but we are in a war zone, meaning that we need to move her away because we need to interrogate and we need to take care of the situation. The guy that was with her, he was her brother. He could walk, so he cooperated with us. We took him aside, and then we came back. Although it's a very complex war zone, we took a stretcher and we put her on the stretcher to evacuate her from that area. Thankfully, after interrogating them, and interrogating specifically the guy, at the beginning, the same thing. He didn't want to speak. You have to put pressure. And then we realized, he said, okay, yes. Next house next to me, there is Hamas people that's shooting. And I heard they're shooting yesterday and 2 days ago. That's what he says. And I know that they have a tunnel and they're going from this tunnel to a plastic factory that is just like 200 meters away. And he says, and be careful, I know that there is an explosive in the second house far from where I live. And thanks to this information, because you need to understand, of course, we're taking them back to Israel and we interrogate them. But the importance is to have the important information in the field when you are in the battle to understand the current information. And thanks to this interrogation, we understood that there is explosive in the second house next to him, and we didn't go in. That, of course, could have ended in a very different situation. So here, after we finished the interrogation, of course, we had to take her out from the war zone. You know, as an IDF soldier, you have a lot of power, but you need to know how to use this power. And of course, our enemy is using a shortcut. It's easy in the battle to use shortcut, but then it's make it easier for you to fight. Now that's what's make us even more stronger, because we don't use those shortcuts. And you know, in the end of the day, if you're gonna use this power in the way they're using this power against them with the shortcut and like in a very non-humanitarian way, the day can come that we will also act like that towards our kids and towards our friends and towards our family. And that's not the way we are, of course, and that's the importance of the purity of arms.